Sean O'Connor here from Macabre Daily, and I have the pleasure of introducing DW Medoff, the director of the incredible new horror movie Your Host, starring Jackie Earle Haley, who happens to be a personal favorite actor of mine. DW, how you doing today, my man?
Dude, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you. I watched this film, and we will not be spoiling the film. And I have a big mouth, so thank goodness for the benefit of editing. But I'm going to try and behave myself and not spoil anything because I want all the viewers to go into this cold, just like I did, and have the phenomenal experience. Especially when you get to those end credits. I mean, you take the viewer on a ride, but we're not going to spoil a damn thing here today, but we're going to come close. We'll give little breadcrumbs out along the way. How about that?
Sounds great.
All right. First thing I want to do though, this was my first exposure to you, and kudos to an incredible film. We'll get into some of the things that I want to point out about your directing style, some of the choices that you made, but I do want to start with you to begin with. Give us a little bit about your background in film. And I was curious before we hit record, I was curious to see if horror is a direction you want to continue in, and if you have a love for it or have had a love for it since a child.
Well, it's funny. I have just a general love for movies, and I mean, a lot of people are surprised when I say like some of my favorite stuff is like the old school Spielberg stuff, like that.
Same.
So, I mean, horror movie lovers are movie lovers. It's just, you have a favorite genre. So, um, how did I get it? I started doing comedy. So
Okay.
I was living in New York. I didn't know what I was doing. I was pretty young, and I was like, I'm gonna start trying to learn stuff, writing, and I eventually moved to Atlanta while I was still learning how to write, and I found a group where we were doing sketch comedy, improv. It was just a lot of fun. And we started doing some videos. Um, and I noticed the humor I was doing had a lot of disturbing stuff in it. And it was kind of for me, it was a lot of fun. I think one of the later things I did, do you know who Paul Walter Hauser is?
Sure do, and I love him. Phenomenal actor.
So he hadn't quite blown up yet. He had just been in I, Tonya, and me and my friends got a little bit of money to make something. And we made this horror. Well, we made this comedy that had this edge of horror in it. I didn't direct it. It was my one of my best friends, Jonathan Pulowski and Justin Miles, who we wrote it together, and Jonathan directed it. But we reached out to Paul and said, "Hey, will you be in this?" And he was. It was. He said to us it was his first time being offered a role without auditioning because we had just seen him in I, Tonya.
Okay.
And the role was it's a short film called Sheep, and it's about a suicide cult on the Ascension Day. But I think we call them obnoxious man child accidentally survives, and it was super funny, super dark. It's called Sheep,
Where
but
can we find this? Because now I have to watch it.
it's on YouTube. I'll
Perfect.
send you the link after. I'm gonna just make a quick note.
Send me the link and I'm going to put it in this article. So, viewers, you checking us out right now, just look down below and you're going to find the link to Sheep.
Yeah, it's fun. It's just super fun. And then after that, we wrote the movie. We wrote a TV show version. It didn't go anywhere. Paul's
Yeah.
career went everywhere. I love that for him. I just saw Fantastic Four, and I
He
saw
steals the
him in
movie.
that. Oh God, he's so good. He's great. I love Paul. He's such a great guy. So after that, I kind of started getting into like directing myself because I loved making that. I loved making my other comedy stuff, but I wanted to be in more control of my destiny
Okay.
because as a writer, especially in the indie scene, it's like you want other people to take notice of your stuff so that they make it, but you're not in control of that. And I had people who were making things. I was really lucky, and I'm thankful for this, that I had people who wanted to make my short films that I had written. And I let them. I was just like, here you go, that's cool. But I wanted to learn how to do that. And I'm not a technician by trade. These camera guys, DPs in Atlanta, I mean, everywhere, they're so talented and there's so much. So, and as a writer, I was like, well, I'm not going to be able to learn that skill that they're so good at. So how do I work with them? And I made some short films to learn how to work with people in my, new venture of horror. I watched a ton of horror and I watched a ton of movies that I loved over and over to kind of just study them. And then I made my first couple short films. They started doing well, and then I had a local Atlanta producer who wanted to produce my first feature length movie, and I was like, I don't know how to do this, but let's do it.
Do it.
And it was extremely low budget, but we were shooting short films that cost $1,000 in one day. So it was like if you could make a 6-minute short film in one day, if you could, basically string that together over 7 days, you've got a feature.
Yeah,
And that's what,
theoretically, it
yeah.
makes sense. Yeah, you could do that. Wow. I mean, it's surprising, and this isn't me blowing smoke. I know you cut your teeth on short films. This being your first feature, your host is your first feature?
Third,
Third
third.
feature. Okay.
I
You,
have two very low budget horrors.
but DW, you come off as someone who has been doing this for decades, man. I'm not kidding. The quality that your host brings to the viewing experience and the choices that you make, especially with, how you're framing the shots. I wanted to point out that Jackie Earle Haley as Barry Miller, who's our, our antagonist, so to speak, his costuming pops. Everything else and again, no spoilers, I have to watch myself, but everything else that's in the environment is like a little bit washed out and dreary and purposeful because of the situation that, the protagonists are in. And then Jackie Earle Haley comes in as like this demented carnival barker from hell, and he just fills up the screen. And you and I both know we're talking about, now I'm a man who's only 5'7", so this is no slight, literally. But we're talking about a man of diminutive stature, and it's as if he's 20 feet tall in the frame because of how he projects himself and like the almost spinning top lunacy that he brings to this role. I kept leaning closer and closer in as I was watching because that's what he was doing. He was like drawing me in. I had such a fun time with this damn movie. I'm telling you that right now. Got such a great performance out of him, but the choices you make dictate that. So, all right, third feature, just keep doing it, please. Just keep doing it. You're good
If
at
they
it.
let me, if they let me, they being anyone, I'd love to keep making more.
All right, so I hate to put you on the spot, but I kind of also love to put you on the spot because I have a feeling that you're gonna have answers immediately. Who are your top three favorite directors?
Damn, that is a tough one. I mean, I guess, as a music guy, I always ask people that kind of question of like music or direct. It's so like, oh, well, what right now? So I'll say Spielberg is my number one.
Okay.
And I don't want to say George Lucas, but like them as a combo.
All right, we'll
I
combo them. I'll give you that. We'll combo
Yeah,
those.
because I just watched with some friends, we did an Indiana Jones day and we watched the three original Indiana Jones movies in one sitting. It was awesome. I mean, just what a great like,
Fantastic day.
yeah, what a great, I mean, and I know even movies that Spielberg will say he doesn't like of his own catalog, like Hook is one of my favorite movies, if only just because I know they say sometimes that you love movies just because your family had the VHS,
Yeah.
and maybe that's the case, but I freaking love Hook.
Yeah.
And the first 20 minutes of Hook are like a horror movie. If you've ever
Very much
seen.
so.
I mean, I just remember that like the hook scrape along the wall as they're looking for the kids and gotta fly, gotta crow. There's a mystery, there's a scariness to it. Whether or not Spielberg likes it, I love it. Um, the next couple that I like, I mean, Paul Thomas Anderson comes to mind. the Coen brothers come to mind. Oh gosh, I'm not a deep movie buff. So like you're not gonna get someone interesting out of me. I'm kind of like the
You just
tip
gave
of
three interesting
I know.
answers. Those are three
I know.
fantastic
I'm just
directors.
like the tip. I believe that I'm a tip of the iceberg kind of person. Renaissance, can do a lot of things, but nothing like super great. But like I love the Coen brothers movies because there's such an intensity about them, yet there's
Absolutely.
also like so much fun about them. For example, um No Country for Old Men, like Javier Bardem is so dark. And I mean, he's just portrayed so well, but they gave him a bowl cut,
Yeah.
you know? Like there's something amazing about that. I don't know the backstory. I don't know why. Maybe they thought it was scarier, but there's just something about the most menacing villain in the world that they gave the shittiest haircut.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, it just speaks to like the banality of evil. It's just it could just come up and sweep over you. It doesn't have to have a marching band behind it. It can
yeah.
look ridiculous. You've given great answers, man.
Yeah. And
And
also just another one from the Coen brothers. I don't want to, this is a spoiler if you haven't seen it. Have you seen Burn After Reading?
yes, so good.
Brad Pitt in the closet
Yes.
is one of the most incredible scenes. So I really think that I was super inspired by the Coen brothers. Now that I'm kind of thinking about this, because the Coen brothers take these super intense scenes and kind of do something different with them. Like the bowl cut for Javier Bardem, like the way Brad Pitt gets it in the end of or in the closet from George Clooney. Like there's something about in the movies I want to make that is different than a bunch of good people get killed by a bad guy because it's not always it's not always that simple.
Yeah.
And I mean, whether or not I executed that in Host, it's still something I like to think about. Like, why does the host kill these people? Why does he do that? Why do these kids deserve to be put into what they are? Because I think about empathy a lot when writing and who people are and why they do the things they do. So maybe the Coen brothers are a big influence for me, and I never even thought about it. But or maybe I just gravitate towards that or like that. But it's it's this idea of wanting to not paint people as flat two-dimensional objects, seeing them in three dimensions and saying like, that's why they're doing this. That's why they're going through what they're going through.
You definitely accomplished that in your host. I wanted to point out you do something very interesting, and I know you have a team behind you as well. You seem to have really amassed a group of incredibly talented people. Joey Miller, did you have input into the screenplay with Joey Miller, or was this just his screenplay and you kind of tweaked it as you went along?
So this was Joey's screenplay.
Yeah.
I didn't know Joey at the time. The screenplay was handed to me by these awesome producers who were like, "Hey, would you want to consider this?" I read it and I was like, this is really cool.
Yeah, I can do
The
that.
concept was really cool. The characters were really cool, and I was just they let me like kind of tweak it to be a visual medium
Okay.
because I think I think the original script was really great and it had a really great story and it progressed super had great pacing to it. The only thing that I think I brought to it was making sure it was a visual medium.
Okay.
So,
All right. I'm just going to pause right here just to tell our viewers, again, without spoiling anything, the film, in the barest bones description, it is about four friends who get together for a weekend, as friends do in their 20s, early 30s, having a great time, and then find themselves, they wake up and they are shackled essentially in a torture chamber, and then the reasons why are revealed, and it's incredibly layered, and it takes you in directions because every horror movie fan and you're talking to one who's guilty of it right here, we always think we're smarter than the film, so we're like we know exactly where this is going. You take us in different directions and we're misled purposefully and it makes it so fun to do that. And then, as these layers are unveiled, it makes the viewing experience that much richer and deeper, and more impactful. And I'm not trying to make this more than it is. It is a fun, entertaining horror film, but it's not your typical, okay, it was a good 90 minutes spent and I kind of forgot about it as the credits roll. I've been thinking about this movie for the last week and a half. You do something that's very interesting with your performances. Everybody in the film is incredible, by the way. Your actors spot on. Everybody nails their role. I wanted to point out the relationship between Barry Miller and James. So Jackie Earle Haley and James is played by Jamie Flatters.
Jamie Flatters, yeah.
Jamie Flatters. Jamie Flatters is kind of like, he's the dick of the friend group. So, and it's very apparent. That's not a spoiler. It's just very apparent. So he's kind of our villain before there's a proper villain. And then when we do get to the meat of the movie, when Barry Miller has them imprisoned, the relationship between those two was my favorite aspect of the film because it just took on a life of its own, and you don't see that in horror films. To your point, it's very easy for characters to become incredibly two-dimensional when they're put in that kind of jeopardy. Whatever they were previously, they kind of lose that flavor, and they just become one note. This is not the case. I was literally applauding you while I was watching the movie because I was like, these are smart choices. And it's making the performances that much better. And it's making the interaction between all our characters that much. It's dialing it up to 11. Everything then, kind of goes through the roof because you're even caring about the person that you couldn't wait to kill before Barry Miller showed up, And then you sprinkle in some set pieces that are the practical effect work in this film. One scene in particular, and this is where I'm going to shut up, and I want the viewers right now to just immediately put in your calendar to watch your host, because there's a practical effect shot that is one of the best that I have seen this year alone, and honestly, the past couple of years. And we can't really talk about it though.
Can I like take a guess at which one you're talking about without saying it? I'm just gonna go.
Yep.
Copy that. I'm so glad you liked it. I'm so glad.
It is what this movie is going to be known for, along with fantastic performances. I think Jackie Earle Haley really shines in a cast full of actors that do amazing work. But this film is going to be known for that scene. But that's not the only one. You have some incredible, cringy, delightful moments that just escalate the tension and the dread. And then like your ending is like cherry on top of the cake, and it makes perfect sense, and everything kind of comes full circle, and the credits roll, and you're like, whoa, okay. All right. That's what I look for in a horror film, my friend.
Well, I'm so glad. I mean, I'm so thankful for some of the stuff you just said and appreciative. And I feel that you just directed at me, but a lot of those things are not me at all.
I know that I know it's the people that you amass. I know.
Yeah, it's I mean, just to kind of run you through some of these people, our DP and his entire crew, his name is Paulo Carnera, and he's just incredible visionary. He worked on a movie that was an Oscar nomination for Best International Feature. I mean, this guy is a visionary. In Italy, people were, because we filmed this in Italy, and we filmed this all in Rome, which was incredible. But people knew Paolo in Rome. People know Paolo, and they were just, people would call him Maestro. And I'm not an ego guy, but I was like, oh, I I shouldn't be with him. This guy's way out of my league. And I remember meeting him, and because I'm so a lot of, I'll just use stupid. I'm so stupid or dense sometimes. I was meeting with him and I was like, okay, this guy just wants to make the movie. I've seen the stuff he's made. It's really cool. Let's do this. And like, I think if you caught me a couple years ago, I was really, I mean, even right before I made host with when it came to meeting Jackie, because Jackie's been in like, I mean, him and Rorschach
Yeah.
was like amazing. I thought I was going to be so nervous talking to him, and like I realized right then I was like, if I want to be a director, I have to, even if I don't feel like I'm on the same level as these people, I at least have to play the same game.
You have to project that.
And
Yeah.
it was tough. And I remember I love Jackie. And I just remember at first being like, I just got to get into it. And we had one creative, like, not, I don't want to say argument. It was just like the slightest difference on the first thing. And I remember being like, okay, in my head, I was like, I got to stand up for this just so I can like make sure I'm on the same playing field. And I did. And it was, me and him had such a great relationship and still do. I mean, we talk, and it was, for me, it was huge to be able to just have that first conversation. And then, then working with guys like Paolo and his incredible team. And I mean, Jamie Flatters was in Avatar,
Yeah.
and like just being able to direct those people who have worked with mega directors, and have them look at me and feel that same like level of trust. I mean, working with James Cameron is like a crazy, crazy different level than to like work with me, who's never made a big budget movie. I mean, my first two movies cost the same amount as like a Toyota Corolla. So
Yeah.
this movie was not that. So it was like I needed these people to trust. So this is a tangent to say that so many people who made this were incredible. That the actors, I wanted them to own their characters. And the first time Jackie came out, he did something that I was not expecting or looking for. And I remember just thinking, oh, that's the movie.
Yeah.
And it took till that moment. And then I remember he asked me, he's like, right after, he goes, was that too much? Did I do something that we're not looking for? And I was like, I think I said to him something like, that's the movie.
That's it. This is the
And
guy. Yeah.
yeah. And because it was just something that happens on the day, and it was incredible. And our our entire group was just incredible. Like the set designers, the production designers, they were incredible. And our editor, Jan Kovac, he's just awesome. And he's done some stuff. He did the movie Nicolas Cage Pig, and
Oh,
he
wow.
did Pet Cemetery Bloodline. So he's got some horror chops and some drama chops. And what he really helped get out of the movie is turning it into that roller coaster that we wanted. And like, yeah, I mean, the only thing that I would say I got to really be part of is watching all of these amazing people do the amazing work to get the film we got in the end, which I think is really special. And honestly, if I never made a movie again, it would have been the privilege of my life to make this one.
You've
So,
got this, and this is a fantastic film to have if you're only going to have the one. But I don't believe that for you at all. I think you're on to a stellar career. I'm going to be watching it, so you better have a stellar career.
I would do it just for you if I
I'm
could.
telling you, DW, I'm just blown away. I know, like I said, I know that you've cut your teeth and you've done the hard yards. I don't want to diminish that at all. But what you've done on your first, like, bigger budget film is so damn impressive. All right, this is for me. Viewers, I apologize if you're not into this, but I'm always so eager to find out from directors, how long was the shoot? What was the shoot like? How tired did you get? Like, and how much fun did you have?
Um, Let me tell you about my first two movies first. And then,
Absolutely. You got it.
so the first two movies, like I said, they cost about as much as a Toyota Corolla. They both were about 7, 8 days shooting.
Okay.
The days were 14 hours, and I was the most tired I've ever been in my life.
Now, where were you shooting these two films? Were they in?
home base Atlanta.
Atlanta. Oh, that's right. You're in
Yeah.
Atlanta at the time. Okay.
Yeah. From Philly originally, but yeah, I've been down here for yeah, moved around, but I've been here for like 12-ish years.
All right. So
So that's how long I would say that's how long I've been in film. 12
we're looking
years.
at 7, 8 days. I mean, you're grinding it out, kind of, guerrilla style, and you're getting it done.
Yeah.
What's this feel like now?
So this felt like being on a 3-month vacation. I
Get
mean,
out.
still like crazy busy, but our shoot days were 12 hours.
Okay.
All right, so we had like 4 weeks of pre-production where everything's getting built. We're finalizing everything. Again, something I've never gotten to experience, but it was great, meeting with department heads every day, going through the set every day as it's being
Were you
built.
you were in Rome at the time, so you're there for
Mhm.
pre-production. Okay.
All of it, all of
Okay.
it. And I love being super hands-on with stuff. So, letting people do exactly what they want, but if they have a question about the direction they need, being there to help guide that.
Okay.
So like, I didn't build those rooms those are built for the movie,
Sure.
but I'm there every day talking to the painter, making sure that because we knew we want the set to be super grim and be able to turn really colorful and also really grim. So, we're talking about everything from the stuff inside of it to the paint on the walls and the floor and how the ceiling works. And so it's great to just be part of that conversation with people who are total pros. Um, so pre-production was awesome. And then we went into production. We had 24 shoot days.
Okay.
And
All right.
again, significantly longer than I would have ever expected. And but when I say 8 days for the low budget ones, it's much easier because you're guerrilla crew. You are just like moving, zooming, and doing.
Yeah.
With this one, it's you have a much bigger group of people. It's
A lot more moving parts.
yeah. I mean, you have like a legitimate organization of people to maneuver with. So, you come up with a random. I know people watch movies and they're like, "Oh man, you could have just done this and this and this." But sometimes maneuvering for that little idea might take 2 days.
Yeah.
Maybe it's as simple as like a different line, in which case it's like, I should have got that. And hindsight's 2020. But sometimes it's like, if I had a shot that angle, it would have meant, you see this on the frame at one point, but what you don't see over here is all of the equipment. And, that might take 3 hours to move all of that equipment,
Yeah.
in which case you lose 3 hours because you plan to shoot this direction for 4 hours. And then once you do, so there's all sorts of stuff like that to manage. But I had an incredible first AD and AD staff to be able to manage that. So it was great. It was just, and I say it was like a vacation just because one of my favorite things to do in life is to be on set, and I was on set every day. And the producers, Seth and Sarah Michaels, Reese Foster, and they just took such good care of me. And oh my God, the catering in Rome. Oh my gosh.
It
It
must have
was
been
the
insane.
best. Yeah, I mean, we're talking like pasta and cured meats every day, and it was like so good. And then after our little like delicious catering lunches, oh man, everybody's drinking a little espresso, and it was
Oh, I was going to
just
say maybe somebody brought out a little red wine. Like, how crazy did we get?
no, no. I mean, maybe there was some drinking I was not aware of. But man, just those little espressos, the little pastries.
That's
Oh
the way
man, what
to
a
do it.
time.
That's the way to do it. All catering should be like that. I just love hearing stories like that. I'm fascinated just by the intricacies of making film. Movies are so hard to make. It's incredible that any of them ever get made, so you should be so proud of yourself. You really have hit the nail on the head with this. I cannot wait for release. I'm going to eagerly be watching to see the reviews. I already know what the review is going to be from Macabre Daily. It's going to be an absolute love letter because you earned it. But
Thank you.
I don't want to jinx anything, and I'll touch wood. I have a feeling that yeah, upon release, you get your rest is what I'll just say. Get your rest and be ready for a lot of accolades coming your way. I mean,
I definitely have been getting my rest because I've been doing a couple gigs in between here and there, and I'm just ready for whatever life has to throw at me next.
I
So
think, yeah, I think it's going to open up maybe Pandora's box. I don't know, but I
I'd love I'd love that. Face Pandora, put me in the box, coach.
I'm so excited to see where this leads you next. Like I said, I'm a fan now. I'm heavily invested in your career, so I will be annoying you from time to time, just saying, DW, okay, what do we got cooking, man? Because you're always welcome back to Macabre Daily.
Dude, I'd love that. And before I go, just to put you on the spot, who are your three favorite directors?
Oh boy. Well, Spielberg, my favorite movie is Jaws, so
I love
Spielberg for
Jaws.
sure. And then it's I guess it this is a cop out, but it's like moment depends on where I'm in my life. I was a huge Peckinpah fan for the longest time. Just you loved Peckinpah, Wild Bunch. I try and catch it on in 35 millimeter on the big screen wherever I can. I mean, I'll travel to go see that movie because it's just such a revisionist Western. Peckinpah is probably still in the top three, and then it's the Coen brothers. So I hate to.
No, I love it. I don't know Peck. I say I like westerns, but I don't know who Peck and Paul is. So now I have to look into that. So
Check out Peckinpah, but I mean, you open up the floodgates. I lean toward horror. You could tell, but the early works of John Carpenter, people get upset with me when I say that, but his movies after Prince of Darkness, you know, once he lost Dean Cundey as his DP, things, the movies tended to look worse.
what was the first movie after what like where did that start?
Ah, it started with possibly The Thing. Dean couldn't.
Oh,
He may be the cinematographer on The Fog. I think he is The Fog.
so did you not like The Thing?
Love The Thing. Oh my God, I love
Oh,
it.
so he did have him with The Thing.
Yeah. So the Dean
Oh,
Cundey,
okay.
John Carpenter, and I'm going to feel like a right donkey if I get it wrong. I don't know who the
You can
cinematographer.
edit this part out. I'm just curious.
Now you know what? I own it. When I'm a full donkey, I have to own it. So I leave these in. And the
Well,
worst,
you know what, brother? Hee haw, brother.
the comment section lights up. When I get shit right, crickets. When I get shit wrong, yeah, we fucking knew you didn't know what you were talking about, O'Connor. The road to hell. But anyway, I
For
love
sure.
Carpenter. I love Peckinpah and Spielberg and shit. Let me just throw in. I'm a huge fan of Terrence Fisher. These are guys from the Hammer horror days. I'm on a Hammer horror kick right now, and I'm just dining out on those British directors and what they were doing back then. And the colors they were using, the set design. It's fucking bonkers. And then you throw in Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing, and they try and chew through the scenery in the best way possible, and it's like the best way to spend 2 hours. So
Man, I love feeling like an idiot, and you are making me feel so stupid. I'd love when you write a paper on all these people, let me know, and I will be reading it and watching their movies one by one.
it's
So
so good.
the one fact I know is you mentioned giallo before, and I didn't know this until I went to Italy. Giallo is like it started in Italy.
Yes,
Um, and the weirdest thing to me is, do you know what giallo means?
it means yellow.
It means yellow.
No.
Whoa. I don't know why, but it was just I remember seeing like giallo and someone was like, "Oh, there's the horror section over there." And I got my Google Translate and it says giallo and I Google Translate and it says that means yellow. And they're like, "Giallo."
Yellow. Yellow.
So,
Matt
oh
Orozco, the
man.
owner of Macabre Daily, is possibly the most walking encyclopedia of giallo knowledge, only to be matched by another director, Mark Gottlieb. Fantastic guy, and he is into giallo. And every year for Macabre Daily, we do a giallo roundup. So I'll pick three films, Matt will pick three, and Mark picks three. Dude, I want to have you on this year. If you'll come on, you've got to watch three giallo films, and you come on and talk about them with us. Would you do it?
Okay, it sounded like you said 9 movies. You each pick 3 or each one of you brings one?
No, we each pick three films and we do a round robin. So if you join, it'll be four of us and we'll be talking about 12 films total, but you're only responsible for three.
So I mean, I think if I could, I would just, yeah, invite me. I'll watch 4 movies. I can watch 4 movies.
All right. Well, first off, it's only three. So you
Oh,
only
three. Okay. Numbers aren't my thing. I like words and movies. Numbers, not so much.
and you can don't worry if look, you do the most basic, which is honestly, look, between you and I, so many people only know the hits. It's like discovering a new band, you just know the hits. These guys go so deep. So you and I will just do surface level Giallo, and we'll let those two do the the stuff that no one's ever going to see ever. You
See,
know?
my thing that I'd rather do is I'd rather, if I could, is watch one of everybody's movies so I could chime in on that because
I kind of love that.
it just would be nice because I don't want to talk about something I don't know. I would love to just be able to contribute a little to something everybody
You're
watches.
on. DW, you're on. I love the concept. So what we'll do is we will email you the movies that we're doing. You can look, dude. It's gonna be 9 movies.
I
So
might watch. I'll watch a minimum of three, a maximum of nine.
okay, all right, fair enough, fair enough. But I would love your color commentary coming into it, as someone who this isn't necessarily your go-to subgenre. I would love this. I hope, please do it. I would love to have you.
Sounds fun. Sounds fun. I'm in.
You got it. We're gonna, I'll coordinate with you, but that'll be like October, November, as we're getting into the latter part of the year. Sound good?
Sounds awesome. Sounds fun.
All
I
right.
love stuff like that.
I'm gonna wrap up right now. Everybody, the film is called Your Host. DW, you directed the stuffing out of it. Jackie Earle Haley, honestly, he's created a completely new horror villain that I think people are just going to gravitate towards. And I'm hoping what I think is going to happen happens. But again, I get superstitious, so less said the better. You have an open door policy at Macabre Daily. I love talking to you. You're a good dude. And I'm so psyched that
Thanks,
we're going to
brother.
get together for Giallo.
It's going to be awesome. And I really appreciate the time. And seriously, man, the appreciation for you guys just watching the movie and taking the time to talk about it is just out of this world. Great. I'm just so grateful. Thank you so much.
Thanks for giving us the privilege of watching the film, and we will be promoting the hell out of it. You have earned it, and it is phenomenal. I want everybody to go out and check out Your Host.
Thanks, brother.
Take care, man.
Bye.